Ethan Rhodes wiped sweat from his brow as he plated the final dish of service. Running a small bistro in Seattle had been his dream, but lately everything felt predictable. That changed when the letter arrived, holographic paper that shimmered with constellations, inviting him to represent Earth in the Galactic Culinary Exchange. 3 weeks later, Ethan stepped off the transport onto Celestial Station, a massive structure orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. The air tasted like cinnamon and electricity. Human Chef Rhodes. A melodic voice called. The alien who approached had copper skin that shifted like liquid metal, with 4 slender arms and eyes the color of amethysts. I am Neriel, representing the Vosgian Culinary Guild. I'll be your mentor during your stay. Ethan extended his hand, then awkwardly withdrew it, unsure of proper greeting protocols. Neriel's mouth curved in what he hoped was a smile. We have similar customs, she said, touching his palm with hers. Her skin was warm and slightly vibrating, like touching a tuning fork. I've studied human physiology extensively. Your digestive system is fascinating. Ethan laughed. That's flattering, I think. Neriel led him through corridors lined with transparent tubes, where plants from 100 worlds grew. The exchange has existed for millennia, but this is the first time humans have been invited. Your species' creativity is remarkable. They entered a vast kitchen space where beings of various forms worked with tools and ingredients Ethan couldn't identify. This will be your station. Neriel indicated a workbench. We've approximated Earth cooking equipment. A nearby alien chef was filleting what appeared to be a glowing fish. The meat pulsed with blue light even after being separated from the body. Is that safe to eat? Ethan asked. Neriel's eyes sparkled. For most species, yes. Though effects vary, some experience enhanced dreams. Others develop temporary synesthesia, food that changes you. All food changes you, Ethan Rhodes, Neriel said. But yes, our ingredients are more immediate in their transformations. She leaned closer, her scent like jasmine and copper. Careful, human. One bite might change you in ways you cannot imagine. The warning sent a shiver down Ethan's spine, but also ignited something he hadn't felt in years, genuine curiosity. He unpacked his knives as Neriel watched with those mesmerizing violet eyes. I look forward to what we'll create together, she said. So do I, Ethan replied. Realizing he truly meant it, first taste of stardust morning on Celestial Station meant nothing in the vacuum of space. But the kitchen cycles maintained Earth rhythms for Ethan's benefit. He arrived early to find Neriel already working, her 4 hands moving in perfect coordination as she crushed luminescent spices. Today you taste, she announced, offering a small spoon containing what looked like midnight blue honey. What is it? Ethan asked, studying the substance that seemed to contain tiny stars. Nectar of the void bloom. It grows in 0 gravity and feeds on radiation. Seeing his hesitation, she added, It's been processed for human consumption. The effect will be mild. Ethan touched the spoon to his tongue. Sweetness bloomed, followed by a tingling that spread through his mouth. Suddenly, he could taste colors the silver of Neriel's jewelry, the blue of distant Earth. Incredible, he whispered. The sensation faded after several minutes, leaving a pleasant warmth. Now you understand why presentation matters differently to us, Neriel said. For many species, the visual and gustatory are not separate experiences. They spent hours experimenting with compatible ingredients. Ethan introduced Neriel to the concept of fermentation, which fascinated her. She showed him how to coax flavors from crystals that grew on asteroid fields. These developed over millions of years, she explained, handing him a translucent shard. They absorb the essence of whatever passes nearby. By evening, they had created a fusion, deshirth vegetables and a sauce made from space-grown minerals. As they cleaned their stations, Ethan noticed Neriel watching him. What is it? He asked. You adapt quickly. Most new species are resistant to our methods. I've always believed cooking is about discovery. Later, they sat in the observation deck, eating their creation while Jupiter loomed massive through the viewports. The station's rotation created a gentle gravity that made the wine in their glasses curve slightly. Tell me about your home, Ethan said. Vosia orbits twin suns. Our oceans are deep purple, and our mountains float. Her lower hand sketched shapes in the air. We cook with sound as much as heat. I'd love to see it someday. Perhaps you will. Her upper right hand moved closer to his on the table. What made you become a chef, Ethan Rhodes? My grandmother. She believed food was a universal language. I guess she was more right than she knew. Neriel's laugh sounded like chimes. Indeed. Though some dialects can be dangerous if misunderstood. When their fingers brushed, Ethan felt that same tingling the void bloom had produced. He wondered if it was the alien food affecting his system, or something else entirely. Tomorrow, Neriel said, we begin work on your showcase dish for the exchange. But tonight, her eyes glimmered in the starlight, tonight is for learning each other. The weight of her words hung between them like gravity, pulling them imperceptibly closer. 2 weeks into his residency, Ethan awoke to find a message from Neriel, canceling their morning session. Restless, he decided to explore the hydroponics bay, where the station grew earth crops. As he wandered between rows of tomatoes and basil, homesickness washed over him. He missed rain and open skies, though he'd grown increasingly comfortable with Neriel. In their daily collaborations, their relationship had evolved beyond professional mentorship. Each evening they shared stories and sometimes gentle touches her copper skin against his, creating sparks of connection that transcended their biological differences. Returning to the kitchen wing, Ethan heard unusual sounds from a normally restricted section. Curiosity led him through an unmarked door, where he found Neriel hunched over a small containment field. Inside floated what appeared to be a fruit iridescent and pulsing with internal light. Neriel manipulated energy currents around it using all 4 hands, her movements precise and ritualistic. Should you be here? She asked without turning, her voice tighter than usual. I was looking for you, Ethan replied, approaching slowly. What is that? Aurelia midea, extremely rare. She finally faced him, expression unreadable. It grows only on cosmic debris passing through dimensional rifts. Is it for the exchange? No. Her lower arms crossed defensively. This is personal research. The fruit pulsed faster as Ethan drew nearer, almost as if responding to his presence. Its scent reached him like thunderstorms in cinnamon. Can I taste it? Neriel moved between him and the containment field. Absolutely not. Aurelia midea is too potent for humans. It reshapes neural pathways, creates permanent changes. Her eyes softened. I couldn't risk that happening to you. The concern in her voice touched something deep within Ethan. He reached out, brushing one of her upper arms with his fingertips. I trust you, he said simply. That night, they prepared dinner together in his quarters, a simpler affair than their professional creations. As they cooked, Neriel moved around him in a dance of perfect coordination, her body occasionally brushing his. My people believe sharing food creates bonds stronger than words, she said, demonstrating how to fold alien vegetables into delicate shapes. Mine too, Ethan replied, then gathered his courage. Neriel, what are we doing here? Beyond cooking? She paused, all 4 hands going still. Creating something new, she finally answered. Something neither of our worlds has tasted before. When she leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his, Vosian gesture of intimacy, Ethan closed his eyes and breathed her in, wondering how he could ever return to Earth having known this connection across stars. Later, after she'd left, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the forbidden fruit and the way it had pulsed in response to his presence, almost calling to him. Transformation, Ethan knew he shouldn't be here. Neriel had been called away for an emergency meeting with the exchange directors, leaving him alone with his thoughts and knowledge of where she kept the Aurelia midea. The security panel yielded to his borrowed access card. Inside the lab, the fruit floated in its containment field, more radiant than before. Its pulses synchronized with his heartbeat as he approached. Just a small taste, he whispered, deactivating the field with the sequence he'd memorized while watching Neriel. The fruit hovered before him. Warm and alive, Ethan broke off a tiny piece, no larger than a raisin. It dissolved on his tongue like stardust, initially tasteless. Then sensation exploded outward, Not flavor, but something deeper. Colors became sounds, memories acquired taste. He saw his grandmother's kitchen, felt Seattle rain, experienced Nerial Stachel simultaneously. He staggered back as awareness expanded beyond his body. He could sense the station's rotation, feel the cosmic radiation against the shields, taste the vacuum beyond the walls. Most intensely, he perceived connections and visible threads linking all living beings on the station. Hours passed in minutes. When Neriel found him, he was curled on the floor, eyes reflecting light that wasn't there. "What have you done?" she gasped, dropping to her knees beside him. "I can see everything," Ethan whispered. "The universe is alive, Neriel, and it's beautiful." "Yes." "The changes may be irreversible," she said, scanning him with instruments. "Your neural patterns are rewriting themselves. I'm not afraid." Her expression shifted from concern to wonder as she studied the readings. "This is unprecedented. Human neuroplasticity is allowing you to integrate the changes instead of being overwhelmed." Ethan reached for her hand. When they touched, he could see the bioelectrical currents running through her body. Taste her emotions, concern, anger, and something deeper. "You care for me," he stated. "Of course I do," she replied. "Why else would I have warned you against this?" They remained there, connected as Ethan's transformation continued. His skin developed a subtle luminescence, and when he spoke, his words seemed to carry harmonics audible only to certain species. "The exchange directors must not know," Neriel said finally. "Unauthorized consumption of Aurelia Media violates multiple protocols." "What happens now?" Ethan asked, noticing how his perception continued expanding. He could sense Neriel's heartbeats, all three of them synchronizing with his own. "Now we adapt," she said, her upper hands cradling his face. "Together."
Oh.
When her lips met his, new dimensions of sensation unfolded. Their kiss transcended physical boundaries, becoming an exchange of essence. In that moment, Ethan understood why the fruit was forbidden sand, why some boundaries were worth crossing. 3 days into Ethan's transformation, they worked frantically in Neriel's private laboratory. His condition had stabilized, but continued evolving. His eyes now shifted color with his emotions, and his fingertips could perceive molecular structures useful for cooking, terrifying for everything else. "The Galactic Culinary Exchange begins tomorrow," Neriel reminded him, analyzing his blood sample. "Can you control the external manifestations enough to participate?" Ethan concentrated, suppressing the subtle glow that had become his constant companion. "I think so." "How bad would the consequences be if they discovered what happened?" "For me, expulsion from the guild." Her lower hands nervously adjusted equipment, while her upper ones continued working. "For you, probably quarantine until they determine you're not a biological threat." Ethan touched her shoulder, feeling the electric current of her anxiety. Their connection had deepened since his transformation. Sometimes they communicated without words, sharing impressions directly. "I won't let that happen," he promised. That night, they made a breakthrough. The Aurelia Media had fundamentally altered Ethan's perception. But Neriel discovered his changes could be temporarily masked using a compound from Earth, vanilla beans and Vosgian mineral extracts. "It won't reverse the transformation," she explained, "but it will conceal the visible effects for about 6 hours. Long enough for the showcase," Ethan said, taking her hands, all 4 of them in his. "Neriel, when this is over, what happens to us?" The question hung between them like a nebula, beautiful, vast, and impossible to fully grasp. "Don't know," she admitted. "No human has ever undergone this transformation. No Vosgian has ever." She hesitated, "bonded with someone beyond our stars." "Is that what we're doing? Bonding?" Her skin rippled with emotions, hope, fear, desire. "The Aurelia Media has created pathways between us that shouldn't be possible. When we touch, our biochemistries interact." During the exchange showcase the next day, Ethan presented his creation, a dish that appeared simple but contained carefully balanced elements from 12 worlds. When the judges tasted it, their reactions transcended species barriers. Something in his preparation spoke to a universal experience of pleasure and discovery. He won first honors, becoming the first human recognized by the Galactic Culinary Guild. As applause surrounded them, Ethan and Uriel exchanged glances, their private victory far more significant than the public one. Later, a celestial station orbited silently through space. They stood in the observation deck making plans. Earth and Vosia are far apart, Ethan said. Watching distant stars, some possibly her suns? Distance means little to those who have tasted Aurelia Midia, Uriel replied. The pathways it creates exist beyond conventional space. She pressed something into his palm, a small, sealed container holding a cutting from the forbidden fruit. For when we find others like us, she explained. Those brave enough to become something new. When they kissed, Ethan felt their energies intertwining, creating patterns that spread outward like ripples. His transformation had only begun, and whatever he was becoming, he would not face it alone. Their story, like the universe, would continue expanding, one taste at a time.